welcome back to the challenge. In this video, I'm going to share step by step. How do you, once you have people interested in what you are doing, you have leads, how do you take those leads and convert them into paying clients through simple conversational conversations? All right? Simple conversion conversations. That's what I meant to say. All right? So, how exactly do you do that? Let's dive in and I'll show you. Now, to begin, we are talking about conversion conversations, and how I want you to think about this is there's you and your brand and your solution, your service, your offer. There's the prospect, okay? Both of you are operating at certain frequencies. Sales and this conversation is to see if there is resonance between you and the prospect. That's it. Is it a match or not? Are you in alignment with each other's frequency? That's it. It's like turning a knob on the radio. You're going to tune in and you're going to see, is it a station? Do I need to go to the next station or not? All right? It's not emotional. It's just energy. All right? So that's the beginning of conversion conversations. And so I want you to understand that in order to identify whether or not there is a match, whether or not your frequencies are in resonance with each other between the prospect and you need clarity. You need clarity. And how do you get clarity? You get clarity through questions. That's it. If you don't have clarity, all you need to do is ask the right questions. And then, boom, everything opens up to you. Now, what are the right questions? What are the questions? There's 6 questions. Okay? The first question, and this is a question that you, as the person selling, needs to ask. First and foremost, is the prospect a fit? Can we truly and actually help them? Yes or no? If not, tell them. Be honest. Don't try to sell them if they are not a good fit, because it's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve them, and sales is service. So that's question number 0. That's the trigger for the rest of these questions. If they are a fit, all right, question number 1, what's the problem? What is the problem? Number 2, what do you want? Instead of this problem you're experiencing, what do you want to happen instead? 3, what is blocking you right now from having what you want? 4th, what is the best solution to get what you want and to solve the problem? And lastly, what are the next steps? Now, the last 2 questions should be very, a bit more collaborative. The previous 3 are you asking the prospect the right questions. Okay? And so, first of all, this should be done prior to a live conversation. And then the others can be done on a live conversation. All right? Now, once you have clarity, boom, you go from this to this. You go from fuzzy to clear. And so this is the flow of the conversion conversation. Okay, current situation, current problem. Where are they today? What are their pains, their problems? What are they struggling with? Okay? Number 2, what do they want? What do they desire? And then we go back and map the gap. What is the gap between their current problem and situation with their desired outcome and situation? And then we gain their commitment level. What are they willing to do to get what they want and to solve the problem and to implement the roadmap that we've just previously identified? And then is the prescription, right? So like, think about it like a doctor. Patient comes to you. All right, doctor, I'm having these issues. I have a rash. My eye's twitching. Whatever. What do you think's going on? Doctor will ask a few questions to clarify. Then he'll say, okay, once he has enough information, once he gathers enough information, he says, okay, based on my experience, I believe that you have dermatitis. Dermatitis happens when blah, 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 blah. So here's what I prescribe as the solution and the treatment for you. That's the 5th step. And the solution step. And the next steps step. And then you're just going to continuously create more certainty and clarity around each of these steps. And before you proceed to the next step, you have to confirm clarity has been reached by the prospect. Right? Throughout this whole process, you're pretty much just asking these clarifying questions, and then you're letting the prospect do the rest of the talking and explanation. And so the checklists, just to keep it very simple and actionable here, is 1, is the problem diagnosed? 2, is the desired outcome clarified? 3, is the problem outcome roadmap clear? 4th, is there a clear level of commitment? 5, is there a prescription of the solution and terms? And last, have you collected payment and started onboarding? That's it. And another very important thing that you need to understand is there are states of consciousness that you want to guide the prospect through to get as much clarity as possible, and so that they get as much clarity as possible and take action to solve these problems. So here's just a simple visual, right? And on the top here, we have enlightenment and certainty. Okay? On the bottom here, we have hell, which is pain and uncertainty. So we have heaven, enlightenment and certainty, hell, pain and uncertainty. When we are getting clarity on their problem, they're going to feel hell, right? They have to get into the feels to really get clarity on their situation. Then we bring them back to heaven. What do you want? What would your life look like? How would things be different for you? Why is that important? Right? Then we bring them back, kind of in between, maybe not all the way down here, but maybe back down to here, of, okay, so you told me that this is what you want. you want to make $1 million in the next 12 months so that you can hire a team and spend more time with your family and friends, and that's going to allow you to be the type of father that you know that you can be and that you desire to be. But you're suffering from overwhelm and burnout, and clients are always asking for your time to get on a call. So what do you think needs to happen to achieve your vision? That's when we define the gap, the problem outcome roadmap. And then, once we have clarity on the roadmap, it's like, okay, so at every step here in the checklist, we are reflecting and mirroring back in the own words of the prospect and getting their approval and clarity. And we're using their words, right? Let's not make up words, okay? And then we say, okay, got it. So you're saying that in order to make $1 million in the next 12 months, hire out a team, get your systems in place, you're willing to do whatever it takes, right? Like, what's your budget for hiring a team look like? What's your budget for advertising, marketing? Do you have a budget? Do you need to create a budget? What are your expenses on the business? What does that look like? What does the income revenue look like, right? And then commitment around timeline. When are you looking to get started with a solution around this, right? Is this like a right now thing? Is this a next month thing, a next week thing, a next year thing? And then, based on what they tell you, you again want to check in and be honest. Is this person somebody that is a good fit? If so, you ask them, look, all right, do you have any questions for me? Where do you want to go from here, right? Then, once they request you to tell them information about your offer, then you explain the offer, prescribe it, say, okay, so based on what you told me, it sounds like you'd be a good fit for our accelerator program. The accelerator program is created to help you add 3 new clients per month, and these are not just lowballing clients like you were telling me you're having problems with. These are $5,000 per month retainer clients with legitimate companies that need a 6 to 12 month partner. And so we're going to help you get those types of clients. We're going to give you the systems for onboarding, for delivery, for fulfillment. We're going to match you up with talent and operators to come in and manage the systems once they've been installed and tested, so that you can step away and have more time with the family like you told me you wanted. And it's a 90-day program, and it takes about an hour or so per week. And these are the terms. We have either a one-on-one solution, which is $15,000, or we have a dedicated managed solution, which is $30,000. What do you think? Does that sound like something that could help you? Right? So those are just some examples. And then you're going to do what's called looping questions, which is basically just allowing the prospect to gain more clarity and certainty around what's going on. And so here on the screen, I have more specific questions for each stage, which you can take a look at. Okay? So I was just kind of freestyling there for you, but this is the proven stage-by-stage checklist of questions for conversions. And now, throughout your entire funnel, you want to be answering these questions. through content, through your website, through landing pages, through lead magnets, resources, etc. So this should not be all new information if you've done a good job with building out your funnel or your system, right? So that's a crash course in conversion conversations, all right? I hope that was valuable. If you're unclear about anything, just drop a comment. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you want, expert feedback, live interactive feedback, a third-party perspective on your sales process, your conversational questions, your flow, we can help you out when you upgrade to the challenge, either level 1 or 2. But for the trial, this is a bunch of information. Yeah, I hope you found it useful. All right, so that's the conversion conversations lesson, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.